Thoughts During a Boring Sermon by Peg Carrot. There should be a law that boring sermons can only last for 10 minutes. 5 would be even better, but 10 should be maximum. If I have to sit here and listen to this much longer, I'm going to fall asleep. And if I fall asleep, Mom will kill me. The trouble with having your mother sing in the choir is that she gets the perfect view of the congregation. I can never hide a magazine in my hymnal or do my homework without her seeing. I can't even doodle on the offering envelope. Pay attention to the sermon, dear. It's good for you. Ha! How could anything this boring be good for me? Mr. Swenson's nodding again. He does it every Sunday. About halfway through the sermon, his head starts to droop, and it bobs farther and farther down until all of a sudden it jerks up and his eyes fly open. I'm not sure if he wakes up all by himself or if Mrs. Swenson pokes him in the ribs. Then, a few minutes later, the whole process repeats. Bob, 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 jerk! Bob, 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 jerk! You know how dull the sermon must be if I can be fascinated by Mr. Swenson's going Bob, 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 jerk. There are 216 organ pipes in this church, all lined up on the back wall behind the choir loft. There are 632 different pieces of stained glass in the picture of Mary. I counted the 3 Sundays in a row, just to be sure I had it right. If you're interested in this kind of technical information, I could also tell you that there are 44 horizontal pieces of wood on the altar railing and 16 fringe balls on the cloth that covers the lectern. I don't ever expect to need these statistics, but they give me something to think about while the sermon drones on. Drone, drone like the steady hum of cars on a busy freeway, except there's never any screech of tires to break the monotony. Sometimes I daydream about doing outrageous things in the middle of the sermon. What if I jumped to my feet and yelled, "Anybody want to play volleyball?" Or I could pass a note around like we do sometimes in study hall. At exactly 11:35, everybody drop your pencil. Or I could fake a coughing attack. I could hack and cough and gasp for breath and roll my eyes around and then get up and leave. If I hacked and coughed all the way out, I'd really raise a ruckus. What I'd really like to do is bring in one of those remote-controlled toy cars and hide it under the first pew. When the sermon got too boring, I'd turn it on and have it run up and down the aisle. That would wake up Mr. Swenson. To be perfectly honest, I know I'll never do any of these things. I'm too much of a coward. I'm not afraid God will punish me. I'm just dead certain my mother would. As much as I'd like to rise to my feet and yell, "Fire! Fire! There's a fire in hell!" I know I will never do it. Instead, I'll sit here and pretend to pay attention to the sermon. I wonder how many squares of ceiling tile there are